In this podcast episode, we explore the profound connection between life's journey and the intricate game of baseball. Join me as I share my perspective, often summed up with one phrase. When all is said and done, it's all about baseball. And with a husband who played pro ball for the Indians organization, I've come to realize that no matter what the conversation, once Greg's baseball background is mentioned, the focus inevitably shifts to the world of baseball. So join me in exploring how life's milestones, much like bases in a baseball game, propel us forward on this remarkable journey.
This podcast is brought to you by DJ Works Media with resources and ideas for you at mid-career or halftime of life. Check out our online courses where we want you to not only start, but finish. Books available in all versions and songs available for immediate download with sheet music and instrumental accompaniment tracks. Our musicals are family-friendly with great music that's memorable and inspiring. Sign up at goalsforyourlife.com/newsletter for weekly updates. Now to our episode.
There is a phrase I have often used when asked about my background, which is, when all is said and done, it's all about baseball. Well, this happens to me when performing concerts, speaking, or even engaging in a conversation. And I've realized that with a husband that played pro ball for the Indians organization, it doesn't matter where the conversation goes. At the moment the attention shifts to what Greg's background is, the focus immediately is all about baseball. So I've accepted this fact, and I realize that life can be likened to the intricate game of baseball with its ebbs and flows, victories and defeats. And just as in baseball, we face numerous pitches, some fast and unexpected, and others slow and anticipated. And the choices we make are similar to swinging at a pitch. The bases in a baseball game represent the milestones and achievements that propel us forward in life's journey, particularly at mid-career, the halftime of life, which is really the focus of this podcast and of my business. And just like a well-executed play, life demands teamwork, communication, and strategic thinking. Well, there's so much to learn from baseball, as I have discovered through the years. Upon marrying Greg, really, this is really true. I thought the game wasn't too much more than 9 innings that could last 5 or more hours. I really had no idea. I was so wrong. The amount of strategy and consistent study for many players between and before every single game, it surprised me. And I will cover some interesting facts that I have learned about the player's stance, the history of bats, and the specifics of balls used in a game. Though there are so many more aspects to explore, we'll focus on applying principles from those key elements. And to wrap things up, make sure you stay to the very end. We're going to share some interesting stories of fans catching balls. So let's start with the stance. And I wrote about this a little bit in my very first book I wrote, Stuck is Not a 4-Letter Word. And in baseball, a player's stance is a crucial element that significantly influences their hitting performance. And the batting stance is the position a hitter takes in the batter's box before this pitch is thrown. And it's a unique and personalized aspect of each player's approach to hitting. Now, there are various stances employed by players, each designed to optimize their comfort, their balance, and power. And for instance, some players adopt an open stance, where their front foot is positioned slightly away from the plate. And this stance can provide better visibility of the pitcher, but may make it challenging to cover the outside part of the plate. I've put some references in the article with this, so you can study this further if you're interested. Well, a closed stance involves positioning the front foot closer to the plate, potentially limiting the field of vision, but offering an advantage in reaching outside pitches. And then there's the square stance, where both feet are aligned parallel to the pitcher. Now, this balanced stance allows for quick adjustments and coverage of a wider range of pitches. Tris Speaker, I think it's Tris Speaker, he was born in 1888 and he played in the Major League, MLB, from 1907 to 1928, mostly with the Boston Red Sox and what was known then as the Cleveland Indians. Now, Speaker was 6 feet tall and a left-handed batter, and his stance of crouching down in a closed stance, it was considered unorthodox at the time, but it was highly effective. And to me, this is a great example of a commitment to a position that it may not be hugely popular at the outset, but it ends up making a huge difference in the outcome. And it's common to imitate others and conform to prevailing trends today. However, blindly following the crowd typically leads to unoriginality, turning projects and businesses into replicas that dilute their uniqueness, almost commoditizing them. So courage is required to prioritize our individual strengths and forge a path that might not be instantly popular, but holds the potential for significant effectiveness with our own unique stance. So let's move on from the stance to the bats. Sometimes a novelty business that seems like it has little potential, it becomes a gold mine. And this was true for John A. Bud Hillerich. He was born in 1866, and when Bud was 17, he attended a Louisville Eclipse game. And when the future Hall of Famer, Pete Browning, he got up to bat, and then he broke his bat, Hillerich offered to take Browning back to their family's woodworking woodshop to make him a new bat. Well, that new bat brought good luck for Browning, who had been in a slump with 3 home runs in his next game. Wow. Then, when Bud convinced his father that they could make good money selling only bats, the Louisville Slugger was born, and by 1923, Hillerich and Son became the top manufacturer of bats in the country. Now, baseball bats come in various styles and materials, each designed to cater to the specific preferences and performance needs of players. And traditionally, wooden bats have been the hallmark of the sport. And in contrast to wooden bats, aluminum and composite bats have also become prevalent in amateur and collegiate baseball, also softball. We have a son that plays professional, actually slow pitch softball. He has a bat named after him, Laser, David Johnson. Aluminum bats are known for their lightweight nature and large sweet spots, making them a favorite among young players developing their skills. Composite bats, constructed with a mix of materials such as carbon fiber, are engineered to enhance performance by optimizing the trampoline effect upon ball impact. Who knew all of this information? And the choice between wood, aluminum, or I can't say that word too, composite bats often boils down to personal preference, hitting style, and the specific regulations of the league or level of play. And the diverse array of bats available in the world of baseball, it allows players to tailor their equipment to their unique strengths and preferences, contributing to a dynamic and evolving nature of the game. Now, the insight that I gleaned from this tale about baseball bats is that in our businesses, breakthroughs can come from unexpected sources. I mean, it might be a song that we almost discarded, but chose to release. Boy, that's happened. A course that we developed that unexpectedly gains popularity, or even crafting a baseball bat that initially seems more like a hobby than a potential gold mine for our businesses. Great thought. Well, let's move on to the ball. The game of baseball, the humble baseball itself, plays a pivotal role, symbolizing the heart and soul of the sport. Now, historically, there was much variation in the size of the baseball. The materials used and how the balls were held together, there was a lot of differences in these balls. And early baseballs were often makeshift and consisted of a core made of a variety of materials, including rubber, cork, or even wooden spheres, and then they were wrapped in various materials such as yarn or string, which made each baseball fairly inconsistent. You can imagine with the weight and even the size of the baseball. And it was actually common for pitchers to make their own balls, which made each pitch very unpredictable. Well, by 1910, significant changes were made to the baseball. And by 1934, the size of the baseball was slightly increased and stitching patterns altered to create a flatter surface. And this was the standard ball agreed upon by the American League, which is known as the AL, and the National League, which is known as the NL. A.G. Spalding, he was born in 1850. He was a key figure in manufacturing baseballs, as well as a key figure in the sport of baseball. After failing working in a couple businesses thought to be more stable than baseball, he came back to the sport he loved and became a pitcher, a manager, and eventually an executive. And in 1876, he and his brother opened A.G. Spalding and Brothers, and they gained the contract to manufacture balls for the National League. Now listen to this. The contract lasted 99 years, and they eventually took over the whole of Major League Baseball with their balls. I thought this was very interesting. During a typical Major League Baseball game, MLB game, multiple baseballs are used, and according to MLB rules, before the start of each game, both the home and visiting teams must supply the home plate umpire with at least 6 dozen, which is 72, new baseballs. Wow. Now, the provision of new baseballs by both teams helps maintain the consistency and fairness during the game. There's a lot of things that can happen to a ball during a game. It can get real muddy, it can get sticky, anything. Now, the takeaway I gather from this is much like standardized baseball, many of us share fundamental tools in our lives. And these tools encompass aspects like health, basic finances, and time, especially at mid-career, half-time of life. We have so many skills and experiences. However, the crucial aspect is how we choose to allocate and utilize what we have. Among these, utilization of time and resources stands out prominently for me. And taking the initiative to pause and assess how I am employing these fundamental tools, it holds particular significance and value. And I stopped to do that. I have to take time to do that, actually. It's very valuable. Well, we've heard about the ball, the bats, and the stance, and now I'm going to tell you a couple of fun stories about catching a ball. Now, while catching a baseball at a game is a common occurrence, some instances they stand out for their unusual or remarkable nature, and here's a few notable accounts. The popcorn bucket catch. Now, during a game between the Houston Astros and the Oakland Athletics in 2011, a fan caught a foul ball in his popcorn bucket. Now, the video of him nonchalantly reaching into the bucket to retrieve the ball, it went viral, showcasing both luck and a cool demeanor. Well, popcorn bucket will travel, huh? The double glove catch. In 2015, a fan at a Chicago Cubs game made headlines for catching the ball using 2 gloves. With a glove on each hand, he skillfully positioned himself to make the catch, displaying an unconventional yet very effective method. The hat trick catch. At a Tampa Bay Rays game in 2011, a fan caught a foul ball in his hat, not once, but twice during the same game. Wow. Well, the second catch, where the ball landed in the same fan's hat again, it added an extra layer of rarity to the incident. How often does that happen? The barehanded baby catch. in 2018, a dad holding his baby at a Houston Astros game, he caught a home run barehanded while still cradling his child. Wow. Well, the one-handed instinctive catch, it garnered attention for the dad's multitasking skills. He was probably protecting that baby, right? The beer cup catch, well, during a Milwaukee Brewers game in 2014, very appropriate, a fan caught a home run ball in his beer cup. And after the catch, he promptly chugged the beer with the baseball still inside, creating a memorable moment captured on camera, and I'm sure posted everywhere on social media. Well, these unconventional catches, they serve as a metaphor for the unpredictability of the market and business. And the suddenness of a baseball heading our way can catch us off guard, creating a parallel to the uncertainties in the business world and in life. However, those who remain prepared and vigilant stand a better chance of successfully catching the ball. While personally, I may not excel at catching a baseball, I do recognize the opportunity to identify trends and areas for growth in both my life and my business by staying alert and using wisdom in managing my time and resources. The key is maintaining consistent vigilance and preparedness in the face of ongoing challenges. So let's apply this. How can we apply these principles I've talked about today? Well, adversities, just like curveballs, they may catch us off guard. That's a whole other subject of the different type of pitches. But our ability to adapt and respond determines our trajectory. And as we stand on the pitcher's mound of our own experiences, the pitches we throw, whether bold or cautious, influence the game's outcome. Now, ultimately, life, like much of baseball, is a continuous cycle of learning, growing, and embracing the unpredictable nature of the journey. So I encourage you to apply some of these principles in being you, being uniquely you, and doing the work it takes to figure out what your stance is, to be able to maybe look for an area in your life and your business that may be unexpected, that's going to break through. We never know that. The most important thing is to be consistent, step back and evaluate, and then put that consistency in play one more time. So thank you so much for joining me, Deborah Johnson. I love these podcasts. They come out every single week. I do have bonus ones that also come out, so make sure you subscribe and you get on our newsletter, goalsforyourlife.com/newsletter. It comes out, we don't spam you, but it comes out every week for a new podcast and usually a new article, as well as plenty of other things that I'm releasing, some new music and all of that you can see the videos and all of the material that we put out. We have a lot of content. So thanks again for joining me, and I will look forward to being with you again next time. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you for joining us. It is because of our wonderful listeners like you that we keep going strong week after week. We'd love it if you'd share and follow us to not miss a single show and even write a review. You can also find all of our articles, products, and links at womenathalftime.com.